Welcome back to Just an Introvert podcast. I'm Amy,
And I'm Abby.
and this episode is a special one because we have been podcasting for officially 1 year.
Woohoo! Yay for us.
Yay for us. You might have seen our post where we celebrated with Costco cake.
Of course, nothing better to throw yourself a party with Costco
It,
cake.
it was it was the best party. We
It was
didn't invite
wonderful.
anybody and we ate cake.
The dream.
The dream. So
Oh
so
man.
it was fun. But we thought that this would be fun today to kind of just reflect on the year. And actually, my son Alex, shout out Alex, had the idea. He's like, you guys should do a year in review and talk about some different things. And I said, well, as long as you come up with the questions. So he came up. I said, give me about 5 questions. And of course, he's at JC, took communications classes and actually has finished the communications program. And I could tell because the questions he sent me, I'm like, oh, these are good questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, Alex, for contributing that. But
Yes.
yeah, anything how are you doing? I should.
Good. Good. We're chilling. I still can't believe it's been a year. That's wild. I like that it flew by. That's so crazy.
Mhm.
Um yeah, so I'm glad we're doing something to kind of celebrate and look at that. So, of course, our party was wonderful. So this will be a good little fun little special episode, so I'm excited.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Well, should we just jump right in?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so Alex's first question to us. I'm going to read the whole thing and then we can kind of break it up. So
Okay.
he says, what gave you guys the idea to start the podcast? How did it come to be? What podcast gave you inspiration? So
Good
let's
question.
start with what gave you guys the idea to start the podcast.
I know we've touched on it, but do you want to, since it was your kind of initial brainchild, you can tell your.
Yeah, so I love listening to podcasts, all sorts, not any particular one. I think I've said this before. I listen to anything from religious ones to murder podcasts to pop culture to just all kinds of stuff. And I don't know, I was just on one of my walks in the summertime and I'm listening and I was just thinking it'd be kind of fun to do one, but you know, what would I talk about? And then I thought about, how much I've delved into the introvert topic and how people have actually learned stuff from the things I've, posted here and there. And then I was like, that would be fun. And I go, who would be the best co-host for that? And I'm like, my my introvert niece slash bestie, Abby.
Yes.
And it just popped in my head. And so I remember just right away just texting one of those things like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? And right away you're like, yes,
Oh,
let's
I
do it.
was so excited when I got that text because I've always thought that. I'm like, I love podcasts as well. When I was commuting, I don't think I was still working that job at that point, but I was commuting an hour each way to work 4 days a week. So I was listening to a lot of podcasts. And again, I loved them too. And I was always like, that would be so fun. I always thought it'd be fun to be on a podcast. I don't know anyone that would invite me on a podcast, but I'm like, I would love that. So when you had mentioned that, I'm like, yes, I never would have thought about doing my own, but I was like, yeah, that sounds like a blast. So it was just immediately like, yep, this is happening. We're gonna do this.
So yeah,
Yeah.
once you were just as excited as I was, it kind of lit a fire under me for that. So I think that's kind of the start of it. And then it said, how did it come to be? Well, after that, I was like, well, I don't know how to do it, but so it was
We
just
hung
kind
out in
of
that camp for a while of like, we want
yes.
to do this, but how do we do this?
Yes. So I didn't even know like how to, record one, put it on the platforms
Hmm.
and just all this editing and things like that. So that was a little overwhelming, but it was just fun to have like the idea for a start. And then I thought, well, kind of look into that stuff. And
Yeah.
so I would say, and then the school year began and then things got busy. So we kind of talked about maybe kind of like at winter break, kind of
Hmm.
trying to really figure things out. But yeah, I would email and message people that do podcasts that I, you know, know fairly well and
Yeah.
just ask them questions. And did a little bit of research here and there, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So how about you? I mean, like, did you beyond the idea, did you kind of
Yeah, I feel like I can't remember. I feel like I talked to people as well, and just kind of did a little bit of research of like how, like I remember I got onto my computer and was like, okay, I got into the podcast app, and then I was like, okay, you can't post it from here. How do you, so it was just like a little bit of playing around and trying to figure out, okay, how does this even work? But no, I totally remember, and I need to post this. I took a picture, I'm trying to find it here, when we got together that very first time. I feel like I was in Modesto and it was like, hey,
Mhm.
let's get together and talk podcast stuff. And we like we recorded the intro. I
Yes, I
remember
remember
that.
that.
We had already
Uh-huh.
gotten the music. I
Yes.
have like a picture of this is like feels stupid to do, but like the little
Oh, yes.
written out intro. I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I feel like I'm gonna want this memory. So I
That
have
was a
that
great
from
idea.
yeah.
Idea.
And we like recorded it first try. We recorded it a couple times, but we went with our first one. We're like, all right, this is working. I feel like once we committed to it and started taking steps, it just like all came together. It was like meant to be perfect, not easy, but a lot of the stuff was like, okay, once we have a plan for what we're doing, then it was just like boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the music thinking, I don't want to get in trouble using some music I'm not supposed to, and I
Yes.
didn't know how that worked. And then I was like, well, I'm a music teacher and I work with some pretty talented people. And so
Yeah.
shout out to Jesse Miller.
Yes.
He does a lot of his own music. And it was funny because I had played a flute part for one of his songs. And he's like, "Hey, thank you. I'll get you a Starbucks gift card." And I'm like, "Hey, instead of that, you want to write a little song for our podcast?" He's like,
Yes.
"Yeah." So I was like, "This is perfect."
That was cool. I remember that was like, oh, we have like our own like special. It's just us. I thought that was like a cool moment. I
Yes.
remember you sending me stuff and like the first one, it wasn't quite what I wanted, but I was like, I don't know. I remember I'm like, I don't know any of the terminology, but trying to explain like what I would adjust. And then he said the second one, I'm like, yes. I don't know how he figured out any of my wording, but I'm like, there it is. So
And that's the one thing about musicians. You can kind of like, explain the things you want different, and they just kind of
yeah,
they know kind of what you're
yeah,
getting at. So yeah, that
yeah.
was perfect.
That was
So
cool.
so yeah, and then I think, we were kind of in the throes of that. And then I actually was a guest on my first
Hmm.
podcast on Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. And I remember talking to them and telling them on the podcast, I'm wanting to start a podcast. And they were like, well, what are you waiting for? Do it.
Do
I'm
it. Yep.
like, okay. And so it was kind of like, all right, I told him I would do
I
it.
have committed to this.
We're gonna do it. So that's
Oh
kind of how
man.
that came to be.
Yeah.
Let me see what the last part of the
And
question
then
was.
what podcasts give you inspiration? Yeah.
Inspiration. How
Yeah.
about, do you have any that
The ones that jumped out to me the most, and probably my top three favorites, I love Pod Crushed. I think I
Mhm.
mentioned that on here before. The three hosts, I love the amount of research they do, the intentionality. I'm like definitely not there, but I aspire to have that. Like they have celebrities on and they'll ask them questions. They're like, wow, like that's actually a really nice question. You can tell people who just get asked fluff questions all the time. They're like, you really researched and you really, like did the work. So that
Mhm.
as far as content. And then I love the other two that I really love are Office Ladies with Jenna and Angela from The
Good
Office
one? Yes.
and Crime Junkie.
Mhm.
A lot of what I love on those is like the two hosts that you can tell like have a good, actual like good friendship. They're not just co-hosts and they like
Yeah.
bounce off of each other. And I loved that. And I feel like that's one of our strengths is that we just have our like banter and our our relationship and we can just kind of go off the cuff sometimes. So those would be probably my top three. What about you?
Perfect. So as far as ones that inspired kind of how we do ours, um, so I it's a funny title. I think I've talked about them before, but Fun Sexy Bible Time.
Yes.
Their humor is just right up my alley, and I love just and it was just pretty like laid back, but just their topics were just funny.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. Another one that I don't know necessarily at the time if it inspired me, but it kind of inspires me now. I listen to the Popcast,
Hmm.
and they talk about a lot of pop culture stuff, but they always say in the title like, we do all this research for you for stuff that that's fun, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of with a lighthearted,
Yeah.
and they do a lot of fun type of subjects and topics, and just have fun with it. And that's
Yes.
kind of what I envisioned for this, was just having fun and not being like all
Super.
stressed
Yeah.
about,
Yes.
heavy topics or things
Right.
that we, had to,
Making it so intense. Yeah.
yeah, do too much research on, which we did
Yeah.
on a couple, but overall we're just,
Yeah.
uh, uh, talking on what we know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those were
Yes.
a couple of mine. Okay, so
Yep.
question 2. What have been the best and most rewarding parts of it so far?
I have really loved like the support from my family specifically. I obviously like, hey, we're putting out a podcast. Everyone's like, what? You are, you got some people who are interested. And to a certain extent, like when you're a parent and you have a kid, no matter if it's crappy finger paint when they're 3 years old or, stuff they're creating when they're an adult, like you're gonna support and love it. So, but I just love like every week whenever I see my parents or every week that we record and post a podcast, they will like oh, I listened to this and I liked it. Like you can tell they actually like really listen. And my brother Ben, those are like the three, um,
Or
top three fans. It's fun. Like it's cool. Again, it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm aware you have a podcast and I've kind of listens, but it's like, no, I'm actually really listening and like showing interest. So that's been really fun for me. So that always means a lot. Like I know my dad usually listens on Saturdays when he's doing yard work.
nice.
And when my brother was living out of town, when he would drive back, he would listen to it in the car. And so it's just like cool to be like, oh, like that's you're setting aside that time to listen and invest. So
Yeah,
that's been really cool for me. I've really enjoyed that.
I love that. That's yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's been a lot of fun to talk to your dad
Yes.
about our topics and just hear him weigh in on that stuff. And yeah, and it's just fun to be able to tell people I know at work
Hmm.
and other places. And yeah, even uh the other, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was talking to someone at church, and they were kind of not they didn't know much about like introvert stuff, and I was trying
Mm.
to explain. I go, well, I have a podcast. We talk about this. So it's fun to refer people to, listen,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just makes me feel. And then I think a rewarding part for me is I figured out how to like edit and
Yeah.
put together an episode, and I've just learned a lot through the process,
Yeah.
and I feel pretty accomplished
Yeah.
doing it. So that's been exciting for me
Yep.
as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, very
Nice.
cool.
So fun. So fun.
Okay, number 3. What has been the most difficult part of maintaining a consistent production?
Oh man, life. My two beautiful children. I think it's just busyness and like, oh, we got to record and the times that we had to do research, like making time for that. Yeah, and just trying to stay on it and come up with idea. It's just like the mental load
Mhm.
on top of both of us having lives and jobs and kids and all of that. So, um, yeah, but I think overall, like I do much better when I have like accountability partner is a really strong term, but just someone that
Yes.
is in it with me and not someone that is just in it to like keep me going, but someone who I like have a relationship with and I'm going to see and talk, it's like, oh yeah,
Yes.
well, it's never felt like one of us is dragging the other or what, it's just like
Yeah.
we're both life happens and we'll forget or get busy, but there's still that like, hey, are we recording? It's like, oh yeah. So I think again, just life and busyness and tiredness and thankfully we've gotten a lot better and honed in. I feel like there was when we first started, we would be up so late on the nights we would record. Oh man, but I feel like now we've got it dialed in a lot more. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
think I think just finding our rhythm, that was a little tricky at first.
Yes.
I kind of like curious to go listen to our first episode again and just hear how.
Clunky, I'm sure.
Yes. But yeah, and like you said, life, it just gets crazy. I mean, I don't have the little kids, but um, it just things come up with work,
Yeah.
and we have a consistent schedule, but it's okay if we're off a week too, and it's not like
Right.
the end of the world if we have to, if someone's sick or just it just doesn't work out.
Yep.
Um, so I think, yeah, I would agree with you on that. Just life
Yeah.
sometimes makes it hard. Sometimes it's easier
Yes.
to get into groove, and then different seasons,
Yes.
um, different
Like
times
the
of the year.
holidays that we were
Ugh,
like, oh, we'll do Christmas episodes. And we're
yes,
like, just kidding. We won't record for a month and a half. Like it just,
exactly.
oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
all right,
Yes.
number 4. How long do you hope to continue podcasting? What does the next year have in store? Any ideas for future series? Okay,
Mm.
so we'll start with how long do you hope to continue podcasting?
I don't know, as long as you want. Like I'm down to keep doing this. I really
Same.
enjoy it. So I'm like, let's just keep going until we run out of ideas or, I don't know what else would stop us other than that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm totally down. Like I wouldn't put an end cap on it, but just as
No,
long as we can go. Yeah.
I think it's just fun to chat. And as far as ideas, even when we run out of ideas, I figure, well, even though it says, introvert, we can just be two introverts talking about anything.
Yep.
We can
Yep.
make up the topics. We're in charge.
That's
So
true.
uh,
And again, like we've said, Twilight podcast is always our backup.
you know what? We could talk for hours. Yeah, your
Uh,
dad was saying last time I we got together for dinner. He's like, "Yeah, when you guys said you were wrapping up and I saw that how many minutes were left of the episode." He goes, "I knew that was not true." I go,
yep.
"You don't understand. We could have we could have done
Oh
a
my gosh.
whole lot of episodes on
Oh, that's so funny.
the
Yeah.
minutia of Twilight." So yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I agree. I'm down to keep going. Um, what does next year have in store? Any ideas for future series? I
I feel like
can't
we've,
say. I know.
I was gonna say we've tossed some ideas around. I think right now we're just gonna keep doing the movies because that's like an easy, fun thing.
Mhm.
I feel like we have some other things on our list, and I had a few things that some other podcasts I'd listened to had done their topics, which I'm not gonna reveal now because,
Yes.
got to keep you interested. But I had some just like overarching topics that I think would be fun to go over. So we have some stuff. And I don't feel like we didn't have all this planned out from the beginning. We've only
Yep.
had little chunks at a time and we just kind of keep going and like, oh, we should do this or oh, let's add this. So it's really been, we probably plan 3 or 4 topics in advance, if that, and just kind of roll with it. Yeah.
And we just kind of evolved, we're like, hey,
Yeah.
how about this? And sometimes our course changes and we just go with it. But yeah, I
Yep.
agree. As far as it's fun to do interviews. I
Yep.
think the one thing that's tricky with that is we have to be a little more like we're going to start at this time, just for the other
Yeah.
person. Now, when we did our family, we could be a little more loosey goosey
Yeah.
with that. But I was thinking in the future, having certain guests on, I'm like, well, we kind of have to, you know, and so that makes it a little trickier.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not impossible.
Right.
We will definitely explore stuff like that. But yeah, we just
I would I would add on to the question, and I'll throw this out there. What would be like dream future for the podcast? Like if you could, I'm
mm,
curious if there were no limits to anything, like what would you add or change or
um,
whatever?
I mean, it would be fun to get introverts that are kind of famous
Yes.
on to talk.
That was going to be my thing is yeah.
I don't know like necessarily how famous, but just famous enough that, have a big following or a
Yeah.
successful, podcast or whatever
Yeah.
endeavor of their own. That would be really
Yeah.
cool.
I would have
As
a
an
lot of fun with that.
introvert, it's hard to reach out to people like that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to.
Yes.
What
Yeah,
if they
no,
say
for sure.
no? And so then I get all shy and embarrassed.
Yep.
But that would be really cool.
That would.
Fun.
That was my thought too, is interviewing celebrities would be fun. I would be so nervous and so stressed.
Oh my goodness, me
But
too.
oh my gosh. But it'd be fun. It'd be
It
fun.
would be. It would be totally fun.
Yep.
Okay, last question. What has been the most surprising part? Any interactions with listeners that stand out? And what's the farthest place that you've had a listener from? So we'll start with what has been the most surprising part. So what has been that for you?
Gosh. Um, that's such a hard question. I don't know. Do you have an answer? Give me more time to think.
The most surprising part is just I just think how much, I mean, not that I didn't think it'd be fun, but just how much fun and how much I
Yeah.
look forward to it,
Yeah.
doing it, and how it's just come together. And, like I said, it's not like I thought it was gonna be terrible and not fun, but
Right.
it just continues to, surprise me every
Yeah.
time. I mean, I'm not tired of it. I'm not,
Yeah.
um, bored, or
Yeah.
I just get, it's fun.
Yeah.
I just love it. I don't know. It's kind of a generic answer, but
Yeah. No, that's yeah, I think definitely same for me. I think I was like a little bit more intimidating starting, like, how do we do that? Like I said, I'm like, I don't even know how, and not that it's easy, but I was surprised at how, like, okay, like really anyone can do this, buy a microphone and have a
Mhm.
Zoom account and, like you're pretty much set. So I think just the simplicity of putting it together, and then it didn't need to be this like big production. I'm like, okay, are we gonna
Okay.
have someone have to like professionally edit? It's like, okay, it's
Mhm.
really not, as
Yes. No,
as
that's
involved, I
true.
think. Yeah.
Yes, and I like it that way, because if it had to be any more, then it would just be almost like it would take the fun out of it and
Yes.
be stressful. And so, yeah, it's nice that we can kind of do this on our own. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So any interactions with listeners that stand out?
Yeah, I have a couple. I was looking on Twitter and I could not find the message. Must have deleted. I've gotten a new phone since, so that might have been why. But
Mhm.
back in the beginning when I was talking about we were talking, it must have been when we were talking about motherhood, I was talking about my birth experience. I had someone reach out talking about that they had a similar experience, and
Mhm.
that was just like so cool and so meaningful because that's a big, I love sharing my birth story. I love hearing birth stories.
Mhm.
I just think that that's such a cool space and thing to share and can be so vulnerable and important. So to have someone like not only hear mine and be like touched by it, but then have something similar and like share that, that was a really cool, like really,
Yeah.
really meaningful. I was like, that's really like, wow, I didn't expect that. That caught me off guard. And then the other one of my mom's friends, one of her besties, Stephanie,
Uh-huh.
um, we were at a wedding and she just started talking. She's like, "Oh yeah, I've been listening to your podcast." And it just like totally, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, of course, I know my mom is telling everyone about it. Again, moms are gonna
Moms
mom.
do.
But I was just like, oh wow, like it was cool. Like we were just talking about it and stuff in context of me growing up with my mom being so extroverted because she obviously knows my mom really well. So that was just like a cool kind of surprise. She just like brought it up and was like, I love your podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that
Little
feels really
celebrity
cool.
moment for you.
Right. And just that people are, again, like what I said about my family, like really listening and, paying attention to it and enough to like ask questions and want to know. Like that means a lot to me. So that was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had a couple of friends here and there like message after an episode and say, "Oh, I've experienced the same thing," and then tell me, and then because sometimes you think, you're just kind of, this is something that you only go through, and then you realize, oh no, I do share this with a lot of people, and
Mhm.
so yeah, and it's cool to see like all the places that
Yeah, you get to see
download
a
it.
lot of that because you have the account where you have all
Yes.
the metrics.
And that kind of leads into the next question.
Yeah.
What's the farthest place that you've had a listener from? So I pulled up the list and I'm looking. So we have a couple downloads from Australia,
Nice.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Um, let's see here. I feel like, oh, let me just do all time. Um, I know we've had more. We have Canada,
Mhm.
India,
Solid. Yep.
Namibia. Sorry, I would mispronounce this
All
the other
these
day. I
rank.
was
That's
telling your dad. Or I think I said it in front of Niles. He's like, I was like, Namibia.
that's not
He's like, Namibia, you mean? I'm like, yeah.
you're like, sure, yeah, that one.
Norway,
Okay.
Nigeria, Sweden,
What?
Netherlands, Germany,
Mm-hmm.
um, Uganda, Zambia, Austria, I
Wow.
have not looked at this list in a while.
And who knows if any of these are bots, but we're just going to pretend like they're
You know
all very
what?
intentional people listening to our
They
podcast and
are.
getting so much from it.
Exactly. Singapore, Japan, United Kingdom. It's just fun to see. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then okay, here's my question. I was talking to your dad and Niles about this the other night. So the top of the all-time that have been downloaded is Modesto's second, but
Right.
first is Coatesville, which is like in, let me look it up again.
Is that in California?
No, I think it's in, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it's like in Indiana or something. So I'm gonna look just to make
Interesting.
sure. Coatesville,
Wherever this is, we probably need to add
Pennsylvania.
it. We need to add this to our road trip and figure out who the heck is listening to our
Well,
podcast in
hey, if you're
Pennsylvania.
from Coatesville and you listen to the podcast, can you message us? Because I'm just curious. I can't think of like any family members or
Yeah.
anybody I know that I've met.
Especially it being before Modesto, because we have so many, all of our people are in Modesto.
I know, and that's I thought
Yeah.
it would be, and that's second. But like, I'm like, who's in Coatesville?
Interesting. I gotta look this
I'm
up. I'm gonna be
really
researching.
curious. Like, who's
That
in
is, that's
Coatesville?
so bizarre. I did not know that.
I didn't even know that place existed. I had to look it up, and I think
Yeah.
it's in Pennsylvania. So anyway,
Weird.
yeah, Coatesville fans,
Interesting.
message
Okay, yeah,
us.
let
I'm
us know.
curious.
We're dying to know who these people are.
I know,
That's
I
cool.
know. So,
Interesting.
one thing I wanted to go back to on what was some of the difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a free Zoom account,
Oh man.
and it
The
gives us,
difficulty is we're cheap. That's that's
well,
that's
that's
the
true.
bottom line.
We don't have our Patreon set up yet,
Oh
so
my God.
but we have 45 minutes, and when it hits the 10-minute left mark, you should see how stressed we get. Like
Yes.
we're trying to talk calmly, but we see that counter at the top, and our minds are just calculating like, are we able to finish this
Yep.
episode, or do we need to stop? And a lot of times one of us will be like, hey, should we stop right
We,
here?
it's usually the one that's not talking. The person who's talking is like internal freaking out, like, okay,
Yes.
but I want to say what I want to say, but I want to finish this up, and I don't want to. And then the other person's like, hey, should we? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll stop and start a new one.
Right, right.
And that truly happens every time.
Oh
Every
my
time.
gosh. Yeah, no, seriously. And then my mind's like, okay, now I got to do some editing. So I got to make sure I can
Yep.
splice it where we stopped and pick up where we left off, which normally we do pretty good job and it's not
Yeah.
too hard.
And I was gonna say,
Um,
when I listen, I can't always tell where that cutoff is. So you do a good job of that.
yeah,
Like
we
I
do.
even knowing, when we stopped one and started the other, I'm like, yeah, it's not very obvious. So you do a really good job of that.
Yeah. And I have to say, I got a lot of my um training from when during COVID when we had to do all our like lessons online and all
Yep.
of a sudden learn all this technology. That actually was really helpful in
Yeah.
this process because I could go, oh, I remember doing this during that time,
Yep.
and so that was helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so oh, and look, it just popped up
And
right now.
oh my gosh, 10 minutes left. Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I one thing I wanted to ask our listeners is, sometimes we do like chat boxes on social media, but
Yeah.
if you have any topics or anything that you think would be good for us to talk about or that you're
Yeah.
curious, always you could message us on our, Instagram or yeah, email.
Yeah.
Just you can get a
We
hold
have
of
all
us
our
and let
stuff
us
up
know.
there.
And maybe we'll, maybe this week we'll do like any what would you like to
Yeah.
hear us
We'll
talk about or
put a little
something.
question box up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're curious because we're us introverts are we experience a lot of the same things. Sometimes we
Yes.
think we're alone and stuff, but there's a lot we have in common. So
Yeah. Yeah. And we're pretty open to, like I said, it's an ever evolving process. So
mhm.
we love input. So let us know what you want to hear about.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well,
So
this was cool. This was a fun little kind of
yes,
blip in our journey to document, the 1 year. That's a
yes.
big thing. I'm like, cool, look at us. We're still going.
I know, I
So,
know.
yeah.
And then we've covered a lot of good, I would look back at all our topics,
Yeah.
covered a lot of awesome things, I
Yeah.
think, and
Yeah.
have interviewed a lot of cool family members.
Yeah.
And I think one of the questions was like, was there any interactions? Oh, it was listener interactions. I thought he was saying something about like on the podcast
Mm,
interactions,
mm.
but it's been just been fun to interview
Yeah.
everybody, and it helps me get to know even my own family a little
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're happy that you listeners are still hanging with us, and
Yes.
yeah, so we'll be back next time. We'll probably be doing movie series again, and we'll,
Yes.
stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
As
And
always, yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. We really couldn't do it without you. We probably would. We probably just do it for ourselves, but it is fun to have people listening. It helps.
it does.
All
So
right. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
bye.